Hi there, welcome along to the Racing Post Postcast. We are looking at day 3 of Glorious Goodwood. Well, it's not particularly glorious. We are talking just before the start of Wednesday's meeting, and as you can see, if we just pan across there, it is absolutely chucking it down. It's blowing a gale. Women are having to hold on to their hats. Men are grimacing. Umbrellas are blowing inside out. So the going is going to be absolutely crucial. It will certainly get wetter and wetter and heavier as we go through Wednesday afternoon. And by Thursday morning, I would expect this to be soft, if not heavy. It really is horrible, unfortunately. The weather really has been bad. I'm Bruce Millington, and I'm delighted to be joined today by my Racing Post colleagues, Lee Mottershead and Stuart Riley. Plus, from Paddy Power, we've got Paul Binfield, who's got all the odds and some winners as well, no doubt. We'll start off, though, we're looking at Thursday card, and we will start off with looking at the highlight of the day and possibly the week at 3:35. It's the Qatar Nassau Stakes, an absolutely fascinating contest between some flying fillies of all ages. Winter tackles 10 furlongs for the first time. Going to be fascinating to see how she goes. She heads the market, Paul Binfield, but there is some strong competition here, isn't there? How do you bet now, Paddy Power?
Well, we're 13-8 Winter, Bruce. Then we go 5 Queen's Trust, 11-2 Somidar, 7 Neswa, 15-2 Shutter Speed. She's gone out slightly. We think there's a few doubts about her possibly running, and then it's 12 Bar.
Lee, race of the week for you?
Definitely race of the week, with the caveat that there is a chance, as Bennis has just mentioned, with Shutter Speed, that we could get defections.
But even then, even if she comes out, it's still decent,
even if
She's
we lose
favourite.
Yeah, and even if we lose one more, which is possible, it's still a rattling good Nassau Stakes, as good a renewal as I can remember. The question is going to be, obviously, which ones handle the ground. Winter's got some form.
And the trip, obviously.
And the trip as well. Winter's got some form on an easy surface, which is a positive. It's the first time over Marna Quarter. But plenty of these don't have form on soft ground. Sabetsu does, with a runaway winner of the Prix Saint Ellery on soft ground. But the one I like is one that isn't guaranteed to go on the ground, but I think could be the most talented horse in the race, which is Stouty's for the Queen's Trust. Really good one of the Breeders' Cup filly mare turf last year. I thought a very eye-catching one at Royal Ascot behind the boys in the Prince of Wales Stakes. Jim Crowley, Mr. Ulysses riding for South again. For me, she sets the standard.
Oh, interesting. What about you, Stu? How are you seeing this?
I cannot see past the favourite here. I think she's home for all money. I think she'll stay, she'll handle the ground, and I just think she's different class to these, especially with the weight she's getting.
I happen to agree with you. I think she's really, it is a very strong field, but I think Winter is something special. I think she's absolutely superb, and I'm delighted to see her as big as 13-8 Binners. What about you? Are you going to take this favourite on? You won so much money on Tuesday, didn't you? Those were embarrassing. You look a bit embarrassed there. Those results on Tuesday were unbelievable. It's going to be another random one today, isn't it? Surely you're going to be able to push this out to something pretty spectacular, aren't you, by Thursday morning?
Well, actually, I think we've slightly cut her today, Bruce, but she's been awesome so far this year. I agree with Lee. I think take her on with Stouty's Queen's Trust. Ran brilliantly in the race last year, only beaten a length and a quarter by Minding, which is top class form. And as Lee said, behind Ulysses in the Prince of Wales Stakes, that's a nice piece of form, Bruce.
Okay, so the boys in khaki fancy Queen's Trust and the boys in blue fancy Winter. So you take your chances there. 3 o'clock is the Richmond Stakes, and Paul Binfield, before the boys give us their opinions, how did Paddy Power bet on that one?
We can't separate Card Sharp and Headway, Bruce. 11-4 joint favourites. Then we go 4-1 US Navy Flag for Aidan O'Brien, 7 Nebo, 10 Barraquero, and it's 16 Bar.
Competitive old race, this one, Lee, and again ground dependent as well. A lot of questions to answer. How are you seeing this?
I'm seeing this as a race in which I'll be looking at one of the less exposed horses to take on one of those with proven group form. You know, look, Card Sharp, Headway, US Navy Flag, they set a decent standard, but I just wonder if Barraquero, Brian Meehan's horse, carrying the rarely seen in big races these days, Sangster Stilts, could be an interesting runner. His trainer Brian won the race twice before, so the Richmond is a race he does target. The horse was pretty impressive at Chepstow last time. Listen, he could well come here and be outclassed by the big boys, but I think at the prices I'd be prepared to take him against the more established stars.
Lee's going for a 10-1 in Barraquero. Who are you going for, Stu?
I'm following Lee down a similar line of thought. I'm going to take on the 2 at the head of the market. The 2 that I've sided with is the Charlie Hill's horse Nebo. One on soft ground on its maiden. Disappointed at Royal Ascot, but was drawn on the wrong side there. And I mean, still wasn't beaten very far for a horse that, the way you hear Charlie talk about it, you think it was beaten out of sight. It was beaten 4 lengths or something on the day. Ran very well behind Gustav Klimt last time, beaten ahead. So yeah, I think he's improving and will like the ground. The other one I'll just give a shout to at a massive 50-1 is the Jane Chapel-Hyam horse. Really big price for a horse that actually doesn't have too much to find on form. He ran in that same race. He was only beaten 4 lengths that day. She thinks the trip was just a little bit too far for him.
Has he got a name?
Yes, Bullington Bandit is the name of the horse, and yeah, I just think at a massive price, he doesn't have too much to find on the form book.
Well, we saw plenty of big prices on Tuesday, so why not take a bit of a chance? What are you going to be doing here, Ben? Is taking on the front too?
I think so. We've got a money back special on this race, so if your horse is second, third or fourth to the SP favourite, money back. Card Shop has won on good soft ground, but so was the US Navy Flag. He was really good at the Curragh on a soft surface. He gets £3 with Card Shop for their last run in the July Stakes, so I'd take Aidan O'Brien's Raider to beat him this time.
Okay, back in a mo.